Alright, Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo Chapter 6 is here, so let's do a summary. So if you don't want spoilers, back out now. I'm gonna start this off by saying our boy Maru is not playing around. He opened his eye at the end of Chapter 5, and bro is about that action at the start of Chapter 6. So the chapter starts off with the old man saying, "What the? You're the guy from before," referring to Maru, and Tsurugi's looking at him and he goes, "Maru?" The old man proceeds to say, "The real third eye? I knocked this guy out back at the house. So when did he get behind us? And he's moving again?" We get a close-up shot on Maru's third eye, and just like this art right here from Crow Colors, it is like emanating so much light off of him. Because remember, they're in like a dark space right now. The old man is shocked and he's like, "What is going on?" And he says, "Is this indicating a state of confusion? I can't maintain my guardian spirit." So like the guardian spirit like that right there, the little soul monster thing. Then the needle that the old man's been using to fight with that he got Tsurugi and Yuka with, it goes through his hand and Maru's like running up on bro. Next page, Maru chucks a freaking rock at the old man. And this thing is like MLB fastball. It is flying. Crack, smacks that old man, sends him flying. The old man kind of goes flying back. He thinks it's sweet for a second. Maru pulls up on bro, lifts that leg up and does a downward kick. Once again, it zooms in on that eye. From the looks of the panel, it looks like the old man is like barely able to get out of the way, but the power in this kick, it shatters the platform that the old man was standing on. So Maru is not playing around right now. Then on the next page, it pans to Tsurugi and Yuka. Tsurugi is holding on to Yuka. I know this picture is them at odds, but he's being a good big brother right now because she looks like she is unconscious. And Tsurugi is staring at Maru like shocked out of his mind right now. Like he is looking like he saw a ghost because he is seeing some real power at the moment. The text on this page starts with Tsurugi. He goes, "Maru was always this strong?" Then he says, "No, something's off." Then it pans back to the old man. He goes crashing into like a gymnasium and there are basketballs bouncing everywhere because he came like busting through the wall and knocked a ball cart over. Then it's given some walk 'em down Yuta moments right now. Like think Yuta during the calling game because next thing you know, Maru is walking into that gymnasium through the debris and you just hear thump, thump, footstep after footstep. The old man kind of like murmurs to himself. He's like, "I should have finished this guy off back there." Then the next page, it pans back to a messenger on the ship talking to Cross, which if you don't remember, that is Maru's twin brother. And it's not only Cross, it is also the literal freaking devil of the Sumerians. And then the text for this page, I believe it's coming from the messenger dude. It says, "Maru, I didn't think he'd lose control this quickly. But from now on, we can count on the Earthlings to make the first move. This could turn into a real good opportunity. As long as the war begins, we have Deborah on our side." So I'm assuming this like devil looking dude, his name is Deborah, something like that. But before we all go calling him this, we should probably wait for the official translation to come out. Then this next page, I'm just going to read the translation. It's back with the old man and Maru fighting in the gymnasium. And it says, "Anti-gravity, no more like a technique that severs inertia. There's no point in overthinking, but this is a time when I have no choice but to think. 5 seconds left." And there's a note from the translator here just talking about inertia. At the bottom in summary, if something is moving, it wants to keep moving in a straight line at the same speed unless something like friction, gravity, or a push forces it to change. So your daily physics lesson right here from JJK Modulo. Then on the next page, we have a very clean panel of the old man and Maru, and the old man says, "Why am I remembering this now?" And it starts counting down, 3, 2, 1. Then at the bottom of this page, it looks kind of like a flashback. There's like an eye staring into the darkness, and there's like a dude with a hoodie and like the strings pulled tight, like he's about to go hit a lick. Then there's like some sound effects, and it's like a ta-da or like a climactic drum roll. And then the bottom text says, "My one and only desperate retreat in life." Then on the next page, it's the old man and Maru throwing hands. The old man dodges a head kick from Maru. Then the old man swings his sewing needle at Maru, but Maru catches that needle in between his index and his middle finger and like slides the needle away like this, just whoop, and delivers a straight kick to bro's stomach. But the text on that page is kind of like a musical note. It goes start, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, or ti, then do, 1 to 1, then like a boom, like a musical sound effect, kind of like the boom. You know, like when they hit the, like the mallet on the, like the big drum pedal. It does something like that. And that boom comes, I'm believing, right when Maru kicks him in the chest or like the stomach area. Then on the next page, the text says, "Shi, ra, so, mi, fa," like some more musical notes. And the old man starts like hurling volleyballs towards Maru. Then the next thing we know, Maru is right behind the old man holding one of those volleyballs, like third eye wide open, regular eyes closed. The old man doesn't physically see him, but he has like a shocked look on his face, so I'm sure he can sense something's amiss here. Y'all know when you had that like annoying person in PE and you just chucked the dodgeball at their head as hard as you could? Maru just did that to this old man right to the back of the head, like crack! Straight smacked bro in the dome with the volleyball, and then unleashes a barrage of punches into the old man. He is swinging so fast right now, and you can just tell it because you can see the old man's head in different positions because Maru is beating the brakes off of bro paws. He sends bro flying. Like there's just a streak of light where the old man goes flying, and then we are back to walk him down Maru. He's just casually strolling. Like doesn't look like he has a care in the world walking towards the old man. Then the bottom of that page, the old man looks to have fallen in like a giant like swimming pool, and he is looking rough. Eyes are bloodshot, and he looks very mad at the moment. The old man comes jumping out of the water with force. Maru's third eye is bleeding, but he just holds up a hand sign, and he literally freezes the old man in ice, just a straight. And brother is in ice. So at this point, the old man is incapacitated. He looks to be knocked out. Maru's not done. He jumps right up on the ice, and he goes to crack bro right in the face, like deliver a finishing blow just straight. In the bottom panel, Tsurugi jumps into action, and he jumps in the way and blocks Maru's punch with his sword. On that page, the text from one of the translators says, this guy's technique was a hidden option, but the translation that I got, when Maru jumps onto the ice and is about to punch the guy in the face, it says, of the demons, crumble, and then it looks like Tsurugi saying, don't do it. But as we know with leaks, take it with a grain of salt, we'll know Sunday morning for sure. Then on the next page it says, that's far enough, Maru, I knew it. You move well despite those injuries, but the situation isn't bad, he's unconscious. And I'm not quite sure who is saying all that, but we do at the very bottom of this page, we could see Cross standing like a little bit away from the battlefield, just kind of overlooking it, and then it zooms in on his face. So I'm assuming he's the one saying you move well despite those injuries, but the situation isn't that bad, he's unconscious. Then the next page it says whether Akotsu protects Maru or the other way around, it doesn't matter. Even Jujutsu sorcerers aren't all powerful. They say there were sorcerers in the past, but that's just an excuse, merely a justification to start a war. The Earth side has sorcerers too, but in both numbers and strength we're probably at a disadvantage. If we waste too much effort worrying about the weak, we won't be able to protect anything. That's why, even as sorcerers, we can't go around saying we won't kill Earthlings. I just want to get along. No, it's simpler than that. I just want to finish this quickly. Maru, cut him down. And this was Cross saying this. Cross is like preaching some crazy stuff right now. He says, make this guy the spark of war. I believe the translator might be translating from left to right instead of right to left, which I mean, it's okay. So let me rephrase this part right here. It says, they don't seem to want that. Then Cross says, make this guy be the spark of war. And Tsurugi starts screaming, Maru, wake up already. And it says, we are. And then it shows Cross kind of like staring towards Tsurugi. And Tsurugi finishes that sentence by saying, we're supposed to become sorcerers, aren't we? Cross is a little frustrated here. He jumps in between Tsurugi and Maru, and he puts his hand on Maru's forehead and says, calm yourself, Maru. Then he says, damn it, what is it that moves my heart? And then the editor's note says, thank you for the huge response and immense popularity immediately following the series launch, and that's from the officials. And that's where our chapter ends. We got Walk 'em Down Maru. It is absolutely crazy. This was a peak chapter. And I know I throw the word peak around like wildly, but this was probably the best chapter of the series so far, at least in my opinion. And we got to see Cross moved a little bit, and it seems like that war is getting very close to happening. Let's see what goes on though, because we got to remember what Usami's comment was earlier in the series, where he says the adult formalities will not move them. Maybe it's the spirit of the next generation. I've been saying since like chapter 1 or chapter 2, whenever we got that comment, that that's going to prove to be huge within this series. But I don't know, you guys. Let me know your thoughts on this chapter down in the comments. Peace.